No, let's get straight into it. Dan, what is new this week? What are we up to? What is going good? What is going bad?
I guess new this week would be that the page speed issues have been fixed. So, both on mobile and on desktop, because if I remember correctly, first mobile was fixed, but then there was an issue on desktop for some reason. So now everything is good.
Yeah, we've been battling with page speed issues for like a long time, and now we're finally at the point where everything's green. No issues. Uh, the page speed insights, everything's green, and that took a surprising amount of work.
Do you remember why the old website had the page speed issues? Because I don't remember if it was the CLS issue, I think.
Yeah, some layout shift. Probably something due to image sizing, but it's all of that stuff is very abstract and impossible to like debug because you put in your URL in the tester and it says all green, great, but then you see the user experience score that's like it took me a while to understand how that works as well because it's like actual score from real users visiting the website. And okay, we fixed the thing, but for the new improvement to reflect in the overall score, it takes a while until Google captures enough data from visitors to like update the scores. And yeah, it's you just have to make a change and then keep checking and make sure it's still it helped, and then yes, the page speed tool might show that everything's green, and then it turns out you've got people accessing the website uh, with very low power devices on really slow internet. And then if that's a majority of your traffic, then it's going to be way different than the page speed tool.
Yeah, I've had the opposite issue where I was testing locally sometimes with in Brave just the lighthouse speed, and it showed there was some issues. For the FCP or LCP was high, and then once the website is live and you check with Google, actually there are no issues reported. I was like, that's weird. It's like exactly the other way of what you would expect.
Oh yeah, but in local development, I think the files are not optimized for production. Yeah, could be all kinds of things. I remember we had that one client billing article that attracted a lot of traffic from, was it Nigeria?
Yeah,
And
for it was a bad keyword that is like from back in the days where one of the SEO agencies wrote something and didn't do the keyword research properly, and it was format for billing client, which is for some reason very popular in Nigeria, but not for necessarily invoicing. It's like a really bad keyword. So yeah, it attracted lots of people from there with very low powered devices.
yeah, that the score on that was not great. and, and I remember we were like pulling our hair out, like, yeah, everything else is fine, but this one page is not working. Well, how come? Yeah, and it's just a specific of that one page.
Yeah, so this is interesting where you face both an SEO and a technical issue because I don't know, like for a while I just left it and kept checking what happens with the article, and luckily the traffic went down, so I just redirected it now to a different, better blog post about client invoicing, and it doesn't really matter. Like it's none of those people who visited the article are actually a good fit because they would be freelancers anyway. The traffic it's coming from is also not the target country, so there's no point keeping it.
What do you think about on page in general? Because I know some SEOs say, "Oh, it's all about links. You just on page do the minimum possible." But then I think it's something we can control. Let's make sure it's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not just links. Like I think once someone lands on your website or on the blog post, you have to keep them there. So that's why when I'm updating right now, it's not just images and text because images are cool, but you can still scroll pretty quickly over them unless they have a lot of information. So I'm building these little tools that help people stay on the website a little bit longer. So it's, for example, if there's a listicle, I build a tool where they can input a bunch of different data points, and then it shows them which of these tools in the post are actually a good fit. So this takes a few seconds, like 30 seconds to a minute, just to complete, which makes the person stay longer on the post, which is really good for us because they don't drop out so quickly.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a signal where if you've got traffic bouncing quickly, it means it's not the best fit.
Yeah, because
Uh,
a lot of people they often just skim, like they check the headings, they just want to find some information quickly, but if you have specific things that actually make them stay, that's ideal.
uh, so in conclusion, this whole page speed thing was a win. Should have probably investigated it sooner, but now that we have a fresh new website, we had a reason to make sure it's good.
Yeah. So tell me, you've been on the Founders Live podcast. How did that go? What did you talk about?
Yeah, yeah, we had a customer of ours. He's doing a pod. He invited me as a guest. It went all right. It's about the usual, as you'd expect, founders interview. What's your background? How how you came across the idea? What problem were you solving? All the stuff. And yeah, definitely like for people who wanna go from running an agency to building a SaaS business, might find some interesting stuff in there. But then I don't know. Let's be real. Like my experience is 10 years old by this point, so the market has changed, the industry has changed, and the to start from scratch now would be like way different.
What are they using technology wise? Because we're using Riverside to record this, but I'm curious what other people are using for the podcast.
I was Riverside as well, but I don't know, I joined via the app, didn't have sound. Joined from the browser, it was fine. Yeah, I think this is the case where like we're using an industry standard tool, which is always great. Um, just the right tool for the job that most people know how to operate. It's very convenient for everybody.
Yeah, is it going to be audio only or is it also video?
This video as well. Yeah, I think it's on YouTube. Speaking of which, like we record this, we put it on YouTube. Should we like do the what is it? The Apple Podcast thing, or I don't even know how this works.
Uh, for
We
the
need like an RSS feed or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, then you need to have a proper distribution system. So
We're, you know, like we've got our app to promote, so this is all everything's focused on that. So we're gonna put maybe a little bit of effort into promoting this. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah,
So we talked about wins. Like I think we had a big loss last week, where before pushing the portal redesign, we pushed some stuff to like prepare for it, and I think we changed the structure of some form fields or something where they were not customizable in the template editor, but turns out some people were like using jQuery to select those fields for different styling, and we messed up some stuff where we had to add back some selectors so people can still customize them more easily. So it was a bit of a letdown, you know, because we went through all this effort to make the portal redesign backwards compatible, where it works as is, and then you switch the toggle, and then you get the new design. But it's like up to you when you do it. And then we do this small little change with form fields, and that it turns out is not backwards compatible. So yeah, that's a not that great, but a lesson learned.
Yeah, can you explain what exactly happened? Because I'm curious what caused the issue exactly.
Yeah, so for the portal, basically we uh, took all the templates and started from scratch. So if you upgrade to the new design, you get all new templates. Everything is fresh. But then in our portal, we have some things that are not user editable. And because for templates, you can edit layouts, you can edit pages, but the actual, let's say, order form fields, you cannot edit in the template editor. And so we have those as sort of shared between the old version and the new version. And so to make them compatible with both versions, we had to make a few changes to the field, like classes, class names, and stuff like that. And yeah, turns out some people were relying on that, and they had to make changes to their custom things. I don't know what to say about that. Sorry, like we lesson learned. We'll do better next time. Yeah, like even technically, these fields you were not supposed to edit because they were not editable. And then now we're like creating new template editing guidelines that show you how you can make changes in a way that's more future proof, where maybe you're not relying on the field ID so much and more on the whole form. Yeah, that's work ahead of us for sure.
Nice. But I think it's good, yeah, to have it future proof so that nobody makes any changes that are going to break eventually.
Oh, they will still do it, but you know.
If they don't follow the best practices, I mean, that's on them, I guess. But yeah, it's probably good that we have some best practices.
Yeah, for sure. Because otherwise, people just default to the easiest way, which I would do the same thing, but yeah, it's kind of prone to breaking if anything changes. Like you said, your code is expecting form selector class, and we've changed that to like new form selector, and it no longer works.
Cool. Another new thing, I guess we got back into doing case studies. We are powering through 4 of them in a very short amount of time. So it's been a long time coming, but we are waiting for the redesign of the website, redid the case studies page, and now we are basically ready to record and produce a little bit more. So the first case study in a few months went live. And
Nice.
yeah, gonna be lots of repurposing because the video is actually very nice, decent amount of time, good content. So we're just gonna do some clips and promote it on social media, on LinkedIn mostly.
Hmm. Yeah, it's always great to hear how like people are using SPP and they're creating great agencies and succeeding, and everything's going on the up and up. That's always cool to see.
Yeah, and there's an interesting pattern that Alex and I noticed talking to the last few people on the case study, and it's not that people are not doing sales demos at all or not doing sales calls. It's actually the opposite. Even if you're productized, they're still hopping on calls.
And that's are they higher price points, like over 1,000 per month, or
Not
still?
even, not even. But I
No.
think everyone is onto something when it comes to being very personal where it matters. Like you have to be
Yeah.
personal when you meet new people because leads are sometimes coldish or warm, but you need to convince them that you're actually good at what you're doing because sometimes they're very disappointed by another agency, for example. They had like terrible results. And then it's very hard to regain the trust. Like you have to do extra work to convince them that you're not the same. And it's not going to work by
Yeah.
sending some email template or just sending them a proposal. You actually have to show your face to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, look at us. We're doing demos for $100 a month, essentially. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think without the demos and just being a little bit personal, it's just not working these days. Even if like the entire concept of productizing doesn't mean that okay, everyone just goes to your website and just clicks a buy button and that's a done deal. It should be a lot about what is going on behind the scenes. That a lot of stuff is automated. You can just cut down on the manual tasks, but invest the remaining time you now have into being personal where it matters. So for SEO
Hmm.
agencies, at least it's one, the sales demo, which is actually done by the founder of the company, which is very cool. And they also do sometimes the monthly reporting as well. So some people just don't understand the reports. Then there's no point just sending them like a link and then like, okay, figure it out. So they show them the reporting during a call, even if it's like 10, 15 minutes.
Hmm. No, that makes a ton of sense. It's like every month you're selling yourself. Uh, you've got an opportunity to sell yourself for another month. If you show what you've done and the client sees that it's valuable. Because otherwise, I know how it is with reports. You just get them in your email and you're like, meh, everything looks good. It's just, or like not even look too close. So you miss the wins or the losses.
Yeah. And another cool thing we learned from Nick from icepick is because I asked him, I was curious, like how many people are logging into the client portal. And he said it's actually surprising. It's actually a 50-50 split. I would expect that more people are usually using the email and just reply, but he said lots of people actually log in.
That's the thing I feel as well. It's like maybe before I've kind of heard this sentiment where, okay, I'm going to set up a client portal for my agency, but clients, they're just not going to use it. Whereas today, I feel like clients actually want to use these portals because they can log in, they can see all their stuff, the status of everything in real time. So it's less ambiguous than email, and it's more of a benefit than like, oh, I have to log in now. Especially because we make it so easy. You just when you sign up as a client, you're logged in automatically. So we try to do all of that stuff. But yeah, I think the sentiment has changed where we're almost offering client-facing project management um, for free, essentially for the clients.
Yeah, and I guess it also depends a lot on the industry. I was actually surprised because he's serving like local companies, so you wouldn't expect them to be necessarily super technical, but apparently they like logging in. While as
Yeah.
like the more boutique agencies, they told me that their clients are usually very not into logging into anything. They have trouble with apps, so they're mostly old school, just want to get an email, and that's basically it.
Yeah. There's a huge difference where if if everything happens, like let's say you do a face-to-face meeting, and then you send a contract via email, and everything happens via email, and then as a last step you get them into the portal. Versus if you get them into the portal right from the beginning, from your contact form, they reach out, and then they already have a profile in your system as like a contact. So that way it's probably easier just if the whole process is in the portal.
Yeah, it's also interesting. I think some agencies they make them sign up during the demo or the sales call basically. So they're probably like screen sharing or something similar, and then they tell them, "Oh, I'm going to send you the order form. You can start filling it out." Or ideally, if they already created an account because they contacted them, then the name is already pre-filled, so they can
Yeah.
basically straight up log in or send them a login link, and they just fill out the order form with their card details, and that's about it. So ideally, if we, because we want to work on the CRM stuff this year, it might be nice to make it easier for these salespeople to send like a pre-filled order form on a call where it's like they
Mm.
can build like the name, pre-fill everything with name, email, and even pre-select like something on the order form, and then they can send the link to the prospect right on the call, and they literally just put in the card.
That sounds a lot like creating an invoice. and sending
It
it
is
for
like creating
payment.
an invoice,
Yeah.
but sometimes they want to use the order form for other reasons because they have like social proof and stuff on it, and then on the invoice you don't
Uh,
have it. So it looks maybe a little bit nicer sometimes.
Maybe you could add an upsell as well. Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, because we don't want to do the proposals, like it doesn't make sense. But this is not necessarily proposal, like they're more helping people find what kind of service they need. Because as Nick said, they have like 3 different plans, I think, and it depends how much competition you have as a local business. If it's low competition in small cities or if it's high competition. So they wouldn't know which one to choose without actually doing a call.
Mm-hmm. That's the consultation selling, or I guess same thing as we do with SPP. Like we don't try to sell anyone. We just try to understand, is this a good fit for you? Show you what we have, and that's pretty much it. And then yeah, we could even do the same thing where at the end of the call we could say, okay, I'll sign you up for a trial if you want. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the other thing Nick was talking about was like being very transparent compared to other agencies because he uses actually the same slogan that we have, like to not overpromise and underdeliver. So he
Nice.
said that a lot of agencies do the same, do that exactly. So they promise a
Of
lot
course.
and then they do like the just sign people up and leave them after 3 retainers. Nothing really happens. So he has a little bit of a different approach. People know what to expect. There are going to be results probably within the first month. Like it's structured in a way where you get some results. It's not going to be crazy results after a month, but you will see some progress, which I think is important for people to trust you. Like you cannot say you're going to, okay, chill for 3 months. You're going to see some results, but in 3 months. So
Depends on the service, I guess. Like for some, I've seen, or I guess it's people agencies trying to lower the expectations where they say, okay, like no expectations for the first 2 3 months, you know.
but this is also, I think, a problem where they didn't check what this business is. Like, if it's a business and you know you can deliver a result after a month, that's good. If the business is
Yeah.
already so optimized, you're like, okay, I can't do much within the first month, then you can tell them. But also, over promising, not great. Under promising,
Yeah.
probably also not great for you.
Yeah. You know what grinds my gears? Where like I'm getting agency outreach as well, and people say like ROI guaranteed. Like you work with us, I guarantee you will increase your sales demos by 20% or something like that. And then if not, we'll continue working with you for free, or like we'll give you your money back. And either of those scenarios are like nightmare scenarios. If it's not working, we don't want to work with you for free. And even like, okay, we'll get our money back, but how much time will we have wasted, or like how much customer goodwill will we have wasted if like the strategy involves like hammering everybody via email every day or something like that?
Yeah, what they're also not saying is, okay, we get more sales demos, but are they actually good leads? Because I'm pretty sure they're going to be people who are not a good fit. So on one hand, it's
Oh
like,
no,
sure,
some people just promise like increase MRR by I don't know whatever amount. You know, like there are. It's like cold email. People will say anything to get you to
sure.
respond.
Yeah, but even if they could deliver, like they're not delivering good results. It could be, yeah, they get sales demos, but they're not qualified leads. Or we get more MRR, but the people will churn in 3 months. So then again, we're back at zero.
Yeah, exactly.
Because right now, I was like looking at all the signups we're getting, and even with all the with a traffic adjustment from all the Google updates, the amount of signups we get, even if it's not gigantic, this is really good signups. Like it's people who are usually US based, UK based, from Australia. They have a good business going on. It's not like the new startup thing where it's like, oh, I'm just going to launch an agency that's going to fail in 3 months. So I think this is very important for us that we get good trial signups that we can focus on, not just a lot of them, and then half of them are not a good fit.
Yeah, that's quality over quantity for sure. I mean, like there's back to that client billing blog post. Like we got so much traffic from it. And it looked good on the reports, like, oh, our SEO is killing it. Like, we're getting so many clicks. And they're all like pretty much worthless.
Yeah, I think that was an issue back in the days where like the SEO agencies, they just did some keyword research. They found keywords that are easy to rank for, but they had absolutely no relevance. I mean, the billing part has relevance clearly, but not if it's from Nigeria and the keyword itself, like it has a very weird intent that doesn't make sense for us. Because it was
Yeah.
basically freelancers trying to figure out how to make an invoice and what structure it is supposed to be, but the related keywords were sus, like this is not safe for work sus that I can't mention. So that's very bad. Yeah. So
Yeah.
imagine you're attracting the wrong kind of people with this. That's very bad.
Yeah.
So that's
But
when,
I do remember where like thinking, okay, well, we're getting this traffic. It's not the best traffic, but maybe it increases our credibility in the eyes of Big G, where okay, we're like it's a legit website or something. You could argue there's some benefit to just getting more bad traffic. I don't
yeah, I think that's how they were selling it back in the days
know.
at least. Like just get a
Yeah.
lot of traffic. It doesn't matter if it's relevant and where it comes from. It's going to look great in Ahrefs. Um,
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think it goes back to people are cutting down on their blog posts like we are doing. We're like merging stuff, trying to remove anything that's not a good fit. And it's better to have less but more targeted blog posts than random traffic that doesn't go anywhere.
And this is nothing really groundbreaking. It's like common sense advice that we all knew all the time. It just took some time for it to for us to believe it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that you're stuck in a little hamster wheel because if you don't have traffic, then people will not work for you. Like 10K traffic monthly is like the minimum some people will go for. They should know that it really doesn't matter, but it is what it is. Like if you get new partners and everyone has a big website, if you have low traffic, you're not going to get into their network. So even if you have an amazing website, it's not going to work. Like they're not even accepting agency websites because the DR is low, traffic is low. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like we're very happy to get good agency websites and link to them and get links from them. So it just is what it is. Like the industry is not very smart, unfortunately. Like people working on it, they have some very strict rules and they're not going to budge on them.
Last I heard, all these like DR numbers could be manipulated as well. So just to
For sure, they
yeah,
can. I mean, it's just a random score that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're relevant or your content is relevant, that it's high quality. So I think with local SEO, because from our upcoming case study, we're going to get some insights into how they do very targeted and specific link building for local SEO. They're a little bit more concerned about it being very, very on point. Like you can't link from a SaaS website to some local business. It just doesn't make sense, which is cool. I wish like the SaaS industry would do it the same. Or like us, like we can link to agency websites. Like why wouldn't you? Why are you just linking in between other software companies? It doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
yeah. This all of this has to pass some kind of like a common sense test. Yeah, like, does this link make sense? I guess with AI, it'll be easier to evaluate as it advances, as it evolves.
Nick was talking about scaling deliberately, but in a very chill and slow way without sacrificing quality, which I think is very cool, especially for agencies, because right now you have a specific amount of people working for you. There's a specific amount of hours they're working. Could you take 20 extra clients on? Probably not, unless you do the math and figure out if you can without hiring someone. Or you can and sacrifice quality just to get the projects done, right? So this is also something very interesting where some agencies choose to scale in a very slow manner just to keep the quality and their clients happy, because he has a client that he's been working on for over 10 years, which I think is pretty amazing.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for agencies especially, it's always good to have a little bit of a backlog because then, like a backlog or a wait list of clients, where that makes it feel more exclusive, I guess. Where okay, I cannot just sign up immediately. I have to wait for the next cohort to open or for a spot to open up. The, I like that approach.
Yeah, and I guess for agencies, I guess it's different than for a SaaS. Like if we get 100 extra clients a month, it's still fine unless it's crazy. There's not going to be crazy support, I guess. It's going to be mostly some demos and onboardings. It's still going to be difficult to handle, but we don't have the project delivery that costs the same amount of hours in the month, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, but agencies are also maybe like somewhat, especially productized agencies, could be flexible as well. They if they have the if they have freelancers in a platform where they portion out jobs to people and they just bring on more people to just straight up complete tasks like write this piece or like edit this piece or do something like one task. I feel like that's very scalable. The then the management layer, the people who oversee all of that and bring it all together, maybe that's less scalable still. Uh, that's yeah, I guess one of the premises of like productized agencies where you can be flexible about it. It's not always tied to hours billed because that's the old school agency model. I guess you charge I don't know like $1,000 per hour and bill the hours, or I don't know it's like lawyers or something. So there is some scalability, especially if like agencies bring in software. That's a promised land to have a scalable agency. We could talk about the newsletter because I sent it. What was it? Yes. Oh no, it was 2 days ago on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, it was the last day of April. You sent our content newsletter, one of two newsletters we send every month. So why are we sending two newsletters every month?
Just because we started doing it that way, so we keep doing it that way, and it seems to work. So that's I think the main reason. But it's always like funny where the end of the month is approaching, and I'm like scrambling. Okay, I gotta send something, and it's like make no mistake, these are all I send all of these myself. There's no AI. I just send what I'm thinking about at the time, or whatever new features we have. I send that, and so it's usually like stacked to the end of the month because we're running out of time. Yeah, it's like one of the newsletters, content is any new content we've published, or just industry topics. And the other one is purely product updates where we just want to let our customers know what's new. Because maybe they don't see it in the app. Or the other benefit is we're getting a ton of feedback from people who reply. And then, yeah, we're getting all kinds of replies. Like, okay, we like this, but maybe can you change a little bit the feature? And then, yeah, that feedback's really great because we cannot think of everything in like a vacuum.
Yeah, and it's good to get the replies anyway, because when you send newsletters, you don't want to just send emails. You also want people to reply. Looks very good.
Yeah, and then like I try to send the newsletters like a very non-corporate way. The emails are plain text, just like I would send them from my phone. Really short, quick to read, not much text. Everything that makes sense as if I was emailing you for some quick thing.
Yeah, and the content newsletter usually promotes one of our blog posts, but now we're not posting much, so it's going to be mostly case studies. Where it gets interesting is when you thought you would have a case study in your newsletter, but you don't because the freelancer was late delivering. So that's always cool. It's like things you cannot foresee. You tell them to be on time, you schedule it a week in advance to get the project done, and then you're sitting there on the last day of April and it's like, I guess we're not going to launch the case study. Like one merge
Yeah.
away, everything was ready. My written one, Alex's video, everything literally waiting.
I that was funny. Sometimes it is like that. Oh, there's another thing that's happening. We are uh, working with a manufacturer in China to produce physical products because like I'm going to all of these conferences this year, and so we need merch for people to just to give away to people, and so we've come up with a genius merch idea that I don't know if we should reveal now, but essentially we're like working with a factory in China to mass produce it, and then I don't know, ship it, all of that stuff. It's an entirely new kind of thing, and it's pretty exciting. I can see how like all these e-commerce brands are born, where like, oh, you have an idea, you get on Alibaba, do an RFP or whatever, and like get a bunch of manufacturers bidding on your thing. And what's surprising is how engaged they are. They're like, you message them at any time of the day, they reply super quickly. They like do the samples. They're like, you could feel they really wanna get your business and like do it as quickly as possible. And you really like to see that. Whereas maybe like the opposite end of the spectrum is like some European companies where you email them, you don't hear back for 2 weeks, and it feels like they don't even want you money, you know?
Yeah, I think it's sad because, I mean, people always talk about, oh man, we should not depend on China as much. But then I'm like, where are you going to produce this stuff? If you go to any other country, it's going to be not the same quality, even if it's cheaper. And that's a big if because it's probably not going to be cheaper once you factor all the other costs in. They have the best distribution system with shipping. People are extremely fast. They are very flexible. So how are you going to produce this in Europe?
Yeah, yeah. I did look into that as well and didn't find any options because the item we've picked for our merch is kind of niche.
Don't
It's gonna be
spoiler
a
it. We can't tell what
it's,
it is. You have to go to the conference and attend, and then you're going to get it in the goodie bag.
yeah, it's not gonna be corporate, that's for sure.
It's going to be for the 90s kids.
That's yeah, that's kind of our generation, but yeah, throwback. Yeah. What else is new
I mean, in
or
general,
exciting?
since you're talking about the events, we're like sponsoring a few events. The Gita Summit is coming up next week, so we're going to sponsor that. We're sadly not attending because everything was a little bit too tight to travel all around. Um, and sadly, we also couldn't get this specific goodie in time for this event, so not easy when it has to be shipped from China this quickly. But it was also a very last minute sponsorship. So sometimes it's like I did so much research on the core events and like any AI tool completely failed me. Like I get the best new ideas from LinkedIn. Like you scroll and someone says, "Oh, I'm going to go to this event next week," and I'm like, "How did I not find out about this event?" There's like one in Croatia right now. There was some cool tech SEO summit. Like all the time, they're cool events, and I couldn't find these when I researched them. I think in January.
Huh. Yeah, these are all like usually very niche events as well. Just a couple hundred people, or it's not like those huge WordPress events, or this is a different kind of ball game, I guess. And we're not doing booths either. It's like go there, meet some people in person, put a face to the name, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. And be, I guess, the VIP where you just meet like similar people, which is always very cool. Because I did that in Warsaw as well. So I think it's very different when you're actually in the exclusive little circle of other people from different companies and they will remember you. Like if you just go and attend the conferences and you're just sitting with other people around watching it, there's like almost no way you can talk to people. Like even if you go to a booth, you're not going to talk to random people you don't know that easily. So I think it's good to get like the VIP packages and just sit down at a table with people, work on some stuff, brainstorm things together.
Yeah, in general, I feel like all the connections are made in the after parties. That's how it is. Yeah, we'll see. So we're working on all of this stuff. Um, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, we're working on some new integrations. Maybe not spoiler it, but there's gonna be some stuff.
If I
Um,
manage to figure it out, you will know next week. If not, Chris has to figure it out, and then you'll know either way.
but the other one, which I'm not gonna mention, which we've been working on for a long time.
Oh yeah, I think I spoiled it in something. Oh, in the case study, so people know anyway.
Okay, all of that's in progress. So this is all the updates we've got. Catch you next time.
Catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye bye.